to give this a shot. I have not used YouTube to record anything ever, so good luck to me. Um, Listen, I wanted to just handle some of the issues that I think are pretty common when it comes to getting better soldering results. And I know I'd mentioned that I wanted to, I don't know, just make a quick note. Hopefully this won't be too long, but maybe a little bit of a tutorial to get a really nice, pretty solder line. It starts before you solder. I know we like beat that into each other's heads, you know, prep is everything, but in this case it kind of is. So this is something new that I'm working on. This is kind of an abbreviated version of a much bigger window that I'd done a while back. And I wanted to make an affordable version of it for someone that very much liked my window and wanted me to recreate one to represent her family. So anyway, I figured since I have all of this foiling to do, I might as well go ahead and make my point with something that's really pretty. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you what it was that I was mentioning. Some of these pieces are really odd in shape. Let's see. I see people do this all the time to get things to focus better. Let me see. There we go. Oh, almost had it. There we go. Okay. So one of these little curves right here, it can be really hard to get the foiling in good shape. And the thing that I think I see a lot of people missing is the concept of trimming your foil. You don't just have to settle for whatever you get whenever you stick the foil on there. You don't want to like lift it up and put it back down because you don't want to weaken the adhesive, yada yada yada. So you don't just have to settle for what you got once you got it stuck down. You can trim it, and it's not as hard as it may seem. And to me it was a foreign concept until somebody actually showed me the difference that it made. So here's what I wanted to make when it comes to really easy, something that you can do that's really simple and really easy to make your soldering come out so much better. And it sounds dumb, but it's a simple concept of burnishing. So this piece is, I burnish the crap out of my pieces. I don't know if you can tell, but all of us get these weird little bunchy edges. That one right there is what, here we go. Come on, focus. My camera is having a problem with ADD. Okay, there we go. So like these little bunchy corners and stuff, all of us get those. And like here's another curve. You can see the little wrinkles that would drive us nuts if that were the smile lines around our mouths. But you don't have to deal with it anymore than burnishing it down. And all burnishing is squashing. You're squashing and flattening, and you find the tool that works best for you to squash and flatten. For a lot of people, one of these bad boys, the pterodactyl fid, whatever you want to call it. And there's lots of surfaces that you can use, and obviously I've used this one before, but I just find it a little awkward, and part of that's because I got, you know, weird arthritis in my hands, but you know, whatever. Find what works for you. This is my favorite fid. It's this section right here. As you can see, I've punished the crap out of it, but it's, you know, it's too dull for me to, oh wow, look, it's not that dull. I thought it was a different one. Oh well, they're interchangeable apparently. So this one I use when I'm burnishing. I'm literally like I'm peeling a carrot. I'm burnishing like this, you know, and like when I'm burnishing points, I burnish like that. And then obviously this is the first part. You get the edges stuck down, and then you move on to these parts here. And the way that I do that is, I'm going to readjust my camera so you can see, get a flat surface. No, this is not Homosote, it's just drywall, nice and ugly. Just put it on a flat surface, and then, you know, like, that's what you're going to do. And it's not that difficult. So that's the first part, making sure that you're making everything really, really, really flat. And it does an amazing job, and you'll see it conforming to the little grooves and nooks and crannies of, you know, the little edges if you got too much in a hurry and you were grinding a little bit too aggressively. Like this one I slowed down a little bit, and obviously you don't see too many chips and pits that are being hidden by the foil. Not that it matters because it's hidden by the foil. This one I was a little bit more aggressive and I got some chips and stuff and I didn't let the grinder do the work. This is another thing I want to address. Let's just call this foil class. These little things right here. Let me see if I can like point it out what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm not great with camera work, guys. Sorry. Okay. When you're working on a curve, you're going to get these little splits. Even if you baby this foil like crazy and you're so careful and you're so loving and you're just, oh my gosh, please don't split on me. It's going to split on you. It's going to do crap like that. You can address that. If it's small like this, you might actually see a little pocket in your solder when you put all this together and it might really bother you. If your split goes all the way up to the edge, like this one did, it's not really that hard to address. It's as simple as, I mean, I don't really need to address it on that one, but it's as simple as taking a little piece of foil, silverback in this case, because my glass is see-through. Look at that, little piece of silver, little piece of foil. Wherever your problem child is, find it. I can't see it. There we go. It's right there. Stick the foil over like that on these corners. I end up doing this a lot on curved pieces where my foil is going to split. And it just, you know, conform it in to the inside of it there. And then like stick. And then you're going to burnish that again. And again, you're going to put it down to get the flat part, because if you're holding it or if you're using a surface that's less than flat and you put too much pressure on it, you're going to get a nasty snack, a little split in your glass right there. Do both sides, even though this one, it didn't really come that much over on this side. And you're going to use your handy dandy. Oh. You're going to trim that foil to make it look the way that you want to. So you don't have to settle for whatever the foil does. Make it bend to your will, not the other way around. And you can, you know, fix a problem that you see. It's not really that, it's not too challenging. And look at that. I mean, it's flat and it's conformed just like the rest of them. If you get a little tail, this might seem obsessive. And, you know, people that have been doing this a lot longer than me, this might be obsessive. But to me, this is the difference between a work that's going to look really well done at the end. Something that other people, when they don't know that you're a beginner or a newbie, might call professional grade. When, you know, you're the only one that has to know the truth that you've only been doing this for a certain period of time. But if you're foiling straight, and you're like, the burnishing is really the key, you guys. You got to burnish your pieces flat. You can't leave your bunchy corners. And you really do need to, when you like, it's not like we all can foil perfectly straight. So trim that bad boy. Trim it the way you want it to. And if you get weird pockets, like this is translucent glass. So if you see on the other side, there's a shadow. So if I didn't foil straight, you know, like, even on both sides, I'm going to get a shadow on the bottom, you know, that you can see through this glass. That would suck, because it's really going to affect the way that your finished piece looks. So if we're just going to like continue on with the blue. Oh, there's my foil caddy. Let's see if I can do this while I'm looking over the camera. I don't have a foiler. I do all of my foiling by hand. Part of that is because I just have not bought a foiler. Part of it's because I have limited space in a very small studio. I took over my daughter's room after she moved out. And I haven't, I still use this room. This room is my brain. So I use it for everything. I use it for work. I've got my drafting table, becomes my computer desk. You know, I do everything in this room that needs to be doing. Or that needs to be done. God, I have not had enough caffeine yet. So yes, I do my foiling by hand, and yes, I do take the time to be slow about it. Partially because I get a better result, partially because I just don't have those tools yet. So if you're After you get your foil on there, pinching around the outer corners gives you a better result. Look how bunchy that is. That's normal, you guys. And then if you have a slight curve, you're going to want to rub that before you pinch it down. Pinch your corner. Here's an inner curve again. This one's a little bit of a deeper curve, so you're going to take your time with it. And just like, and look at that, I split it anyway. See, they don't always cooperate. They're like toddlers. Toddler foils. And I'm just going to address it in the same way that I addressed that one that I showed you guys. It's nothing to be, you know, anxious about or anything like that. You know, it's just an issue. Outer curve, pinch it down, inner curve, rub it in first. The heat from your hand, the heat from your finger, and, you know, most of the time it depends on the strength of your foil. If you've got a really thin foil, it may stretch easier, it may break easier. It depends on how you work with your foil too, and you'll have to figure that out for yourself. What's gonna work as a result of your hands and your pressure, and then you develop from there. And you just, like, straight lines are super easy. All right, on to the burnishing. I'm gonna turn you back over here because I need this corner of my board. Obviously, you're going to burnish the edges, the outer edges first. You want it to look straight. And if it looks all shiny, then it looks good. And it tells you that you've burnished as much as you need to. Some people may think that I burnish a little excessively. I don't think you're burnishing excessively unless you're actually ripping your foil. If you're ripping your foil, you've either got the wrong fit or you're burnishing way too excessively. Now here's the thing. Everybody gets these bumps, you guys. Look at that. Look at how bumpy that is. It's no big deal. But you get rid of them with the burnishing. Okay? You're not just burnishing this edge. You got to burnish the face of your foil. If you're not burnishing the face of your foil, then you're going to get those weird kind of unsightly bumps. Okay? You're going to do both sides because you got two sides to your work. Okay. Yes, this takes a little bit longer. No, it's not that big of a deal. And here's another thing I want to mention. See that through there? The shadow on the other side? It's from the tail end where it overlaps. If you don't trim those tail ends, they show after when you're ready to start soldering. Okay? Let's see. Look at that. Okay, I'll move it slightly up that way. Get you a little closer. There we go. Okay. Anyway, the key to remember is that solder follows foil. Wherever you've got the foil, that's where your solder is going to go. So if you've got a weird little tail from your overlap, your solder is going to follow that. And it's going to, I mean, what else is it going to do? It's not like it's got a brain. The other thing to remember is that if you've got, like, hang on, I came up a little bit. If you've got, like, these weird little, you know, straight, you know what I'm saying? Like these weird little straight things, it doesn't really look like that big a deal, right? It really doesn't. Okay, this is just, it's the norm. You can ignore that, or you can determine with the kind of work that you want to do if you want your work to look different. I want my curves to look like curves, and I'm very keen on the fluidity of my curves in my work. So again, like I said, you can make your foil do your bidding. You don't have to just settle for whatever it wants to do. So this is what I'm getting at. Everything is squashed. See those little corners? All those corners are going to overlap, but if you've burnished your stuff down, then it's going to lay beautifully flat. Okay? So you're going to check for your overlaps, and if you've got like if you've got a little ridge, this is crazy zoomed in. The naked eye is not going to see this. All right? It's really not. I mean, you can see it here. Your naked eye is not going to see that. I trim all of my overlap pretty much all the time. I've got a little split here. See that right there? Look at that. That's the split in the foil is going to expose adhesive. The adhesive does not allow solder to stick to it because it's not foil. So the foil is going to avoid that little patch, and it's going to burn that foil. That's the black stuff that you get whenever you are, yes, pardon my arms, y'all. I haven't waxed. I've been doing yard work and I needed my hair to keep me from getting crazy sunburn. Okay, public service announcement. All right, so you're gonna, oops, wait, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I trimmed another thing right there, another little tail. It doesn't have to be huge, you guys. I want there to be, I want it to be even because I know that I split it on both sides. So I want it to come evenly over to the other side to cover that split as well. And look, it's not even going to. Look at that. It's not going to. So I could take that off and redo it again. Or I can just say, hey, that covered this side, and now I'll go cover the other one. And that's what I'm going to do because I don't like to stress about this kind of stuff. I want to fix the problem, not create more problems. The bottom line is, if you are burnishing your work down well enough, you're going to make your gaps between your glass smaller. Your pieces are going to fit better as well because they're not going to be taken up with a whole bunch of bunchy foil, right? Because it does take up space. It all takes up space. And, normally when I'm not talking to myself, or you, this kind of stuff doesn't take me very long. But if I'm doing the kind of work that I want my work to look like, if I'm working up to my own quality standards, I do take the time to do this. If I'm just making something for myself, I still do this because this is the kind of stuff that drives me insane. It doesn't drive other people insane. And, more power to y'all. If it doesn't bug you, then it doesn't bug you. There's no reason to let it bug you. It's not that big a deal. But if it bugs you, conform it. Beat it into submission. And then you're going to have no problem, right? So that piece is done. It's going to fit in with everything. Like, there doesn't really need to be any, the gaps that I have between my glass is just enough now to get to be fitting in with when the rest of these pieces are foiled, because I do this to all of my pieces of foil. So that's it, you guys. I don't know. It's like, this is one of those things. Like I said, it's not really that big a deal. This is not that, I don't know. To me, this is intuitive. But it wasn't always. I had to have somebody show me some of this stuff. So I haven't been doing this for a super long time. But, if I can pass on what somebody else taught me, it's not like we all have the opportunity to go out and take a class right now. So I'll tell you what I know. Take it or leave it. Do with it what you're going to. And enjoy, you guys. I look forward to seeing more of your stuff. Let me know if you have any more questions. Obviously, if this whole YouTube video thing goes off without a hitch, then yay. It doesn't take up space on my phone and it stays on YouTube. That works for me. Anyway, y'all, let me know if you have any questions. Good luck. Take care. Bye.